welcome back to my channel, Tanya Designs. I'm Tanya, for those of you that are new here, and I am a furniture painter and watercolor artist. So you'll be seeing both type of tutorials on this channel, but Valentine's Day is around the corner and I wanted to show you how to paint some bleeding hearts in case you wanted to make some quick little Valentine cards for the people that you love. So let's get started. Okay, so the materials I have today are Canson watercolor paper, 140 cold press. I've got 3 brushes, my Grumbacher paint brushes. I've got a size 5, 3, and 0, and I'll let you know what size I'm using as we go along. I've got 2 cups of water, and I've got my Winsor Newton watercolors. All right, so to start this painting, I am going to take my size 3, and don't worry about what color paints I'm using. If you don't have these paints, don't worry about it. Just use something similar if you want to kind of achieve the look that I've got going here. I'm using my burnt umber right now, and I'm going to make the branch. And I'm going to make it just kind of coming out like this. If you want to sketch out your painting, you can totally sketch out your painting first. I'm not going to. These are just little easy paintings that I'm going to be doing today for Valentine's Day, since it's right around the corner. So if you wanted just a fun little painting to do for Valentine's Day, you can make a card for somebody. This one here is not complicated at all. So you can make your branches any which way you want. And I am going to drop down some branches where I want my flowers to come. They're going to be hanging down. And I'm just going to darken up the tips where the flower is going to be actually attached to that stem. I'm just darkening it up a little bit. And then if you want, you can just come in and bring in a little bit more paint here and there. You can make it as dark or as light as you want. And I would make different thicknesses in your branch and different light. Some parts light, some parts dark. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so as you can see, I left a little bit lighter in there, a little bit darker towards the edges of the paper. For right now, I've just got 4 bleeding hearts that are going to be put right here, but I might add more later. All right, so I'm going to jump over to my size 5. And I am going to grab my sap green. I'm going to get it wet. And I'm going to mix it with, I already had some Winsor green blue on this palette. So I'm just going to mix it in there with that. And then you can start by putting your leaves wherever you want. And I think I'm just going to pop a few in here and there. And you could be as dark or as light again as you want. And then if you want to drop in a little bit of a different green or a blue, you can totally do that too. I'm dropping in a little bit of that Winsor green. And you put as many leaves as you want, or not that many. It's your painting, you decide. And from all these years of being a acrylic artist, I do have a little bit of a heavier hand when it comes to my paints. That's just natural for me. So if your leaves are not looking as dark as mine are, don't worry about it. It's just that you have a lighter hand than I do. And there's no right or wrong. Sometimes I have to force myself to go a little bit lighter. If you see that it's a little too dark and you don't like that, just pick it back up with your brush and just dab it off on your paper towel. And right now I'm just using those two greens, but you can throw in some blue, you can throw in a little red. Here, actually, I'll show you. I'll throw in a little bit of my alizarin crimson. And it kind of just darkens it a little bit because green on the color wheel, green and red are opposites on the color wheel. So when you mix a little red and green together, you get kind of this grayish brown color. And it's really pretty for adding shadows. So that's just a rule of thumb. If you ever want, instead of using just a gray or a black to darken something, you could just go in and use the opposite color on the color wheel of that color, and then that'll do the same thing. So I'm just dropping in a little bit of that alizarin crimson, and it's kind of just giving some shadow areas to my leaves. And if it's a little too dark or a little too red or whatever, just go back in with your paintbrush, clean paintbrush, and just pick up some of it and dab it off on your paper towel. That's all you need to do. And it's nice when you overlap some of your leaves too. It gives it a little bit more interest in the composition. So as you're filling in, just start thinking about like where you're placing your leaves as you're filling in. You want some to overlap and maybe a couple just to be singles. You don't want everything to look exactly the same because that gets a little boring in your composition. You want it to be a little bit more eye-catching, a little bit more natural looking. So actually maybe I'll have another leaf coming out over here. All right, I'm gonna let those dry a little bit. I'm gonna move on to my flowers. So I'm gonna pick up that alizarin crimson again, and I jumped over to my size 5 brush. Just gonna water this down. Now the bleeding hearts, the reason they're called bleeding hearts is because they actually look like little hearts just kind of hanging off the vine. I've seen red, pink, white. I've seen kind of like a gray. I even saw a blue once. Very pretty. So you're just gonna kind of make just a generic little heart, and then it just kind of wings out. You do not have to do yours reddish pink like me. You do any color you want. I'm just choosing this color because it's Valentine's Day. And you can make these as big as you want. Okay, I think I'm going to add a little bit of permanent rose to this. Just see what it does here. It's got a little bit more of a pink to it. I just want to brighten these up a little bit. And I'm just going to pick up some of that paint on one side of each of them, just so you know that's where the light source is coming from. So it's a little bit lighter on the same side. Okay. Now I'm going to come in and I am going to darken up my, actually I'm going to move to my size 0, and I'm going to go back in with that burnt umber, and I am just going to give the vines, the branches, a little bit of detail. then I am going to drop in just a little bit more of that dot where the vine connects to the flower. And then the flowers have this like little thing hanging down where the heart, the bottom of the heart. I'm gonna do that in my, what is this? My permanent rose. Okay. And if you want to lighten up the sides a little bit more of your flower, you could just put down a little bit of clean water and dab it off with a paper towel. And it's not going to get it back to the exact white, because watercolor is more staining your paper than anything else. So once you put a color down, you're never going to go back to that white of the paper, but you can lighten something up by just adding some water onto it. All right, so my leaves feel pretty dry, so I am gonna go back in, and I think I will use the sap green again. Let's see, I think I might just bring in a little bit of veining. And you don't want to do veining on every single leaf, because that would just be too much for your eye to look at, too much detail. So just pick which leaves you want to do a little veining on. And I think I'm gonna add some more of the bleeding hearts coming down. You can leave it like this if you want to, but I think I'm gonna add a few more. So, maybe a few little ones. I'm gonna pick up my size 3 again for this. And then this one could be tucked behind the leaf, so I'll just make it like that, so you can't really see the bottom of it. And I'm going to be picking up a little bit of my cad yellow, and I'm just going to be dotting a little bit of the ends of these little parts of the flower that are hanging down on the bottom. I'm just going to dab a little bit of that yellow down there. And I'm adding just a little bit of that cad yellow to some of my leaves just to brighten some of them up. I'm not going to do it to all of them, but just a few of them just to brighten it up a little bit. It just gives a little bit more interest to the eye, the more colors you use. So I'm going to be adding just a little bit of that cad yellow to some of my flowers as well. On the highlighted side, I'm just going to add a little bit of that yellow, just to brighten them up a little bit. All right, to add just a little bit more interest, and you can totally skip this part if you want to, but I'm going to do a little bit of splattering. It always adds a little bit more interest at the end if you just do a little bit of splattering, and I am going to choose, I think, green. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your green, just a light green that's maybe already even on your palette, and water it up really, really well. Put a lot of water. And you can just take another brush and kind of dab it. Just tap it like that. And you can add as many. See, I think it just gives a little bit more interest to the painting, but if you don't like this part, you don't need to do it. Just keep picking up a little bit more. I think it just adds a little bit of interest to the painting. There. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of veining now that my flowers are pretty dry. And I'm going to do that, I think, I'm going to do a burnt umber and an alizarin crimson mix. So it's kind of a darker red. And here again with the leaves, you don't want to do veining on all of them because it just might be too much. So you just want to pick a few and just do some little lines. Let's see if that'll show up on here. Yeah, just like that. So the bleeding heart flowers do have some veining on them. So I think I'm going to pick just a few here. And that flower wasn't completely dry yet, but that's okay. I think I'm going to leave the flowers that are in the background, the smaller ones, I think I'm going to leave those without the veining, because if they're too far away from your eye, you wouldn't be able to see the veining really anyways. So I'm just going to do the flowers that are closer to me. And then you can darken up the ends also if you want to, down here on the bottom, give it a little bit of shadow. So there you go. So this is a cute little card that you can give to somebody. You could fold it in half. You could just write a little something maybe on the back of it and give it to somebody. So it's just an easy little Valentine card or painting that you can just give to somebody. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you liked it and learned a little something, and hopefully I inspired you to go out and make a little Valentine card for somebody that you love. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook for even more. Thanks, have a great day, bye.